Hello, YouTubers. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you are doing well. Well. What are we talking about today, might you ask? Yes, we are talking about this ever-ending quest to get back to the United Kingdom. That is what Harry is trying to do in a very subtle way with his children. Folks, let me tell you, when I tell you that there is an impending implosion, it is proof by this story today. All right, so let's get into it. So before I get into my story about Harry wanting to go back to the UK with his children, yes, Otis, we need to talk about really quickly the state visit. There's a few things I wanted to point out to you. We all saw the pictures from the state visit for President Trump. Nothing about President Trump's welcome to the UK for the state visit was subtle. From the moment Marine One touched down in the grounds of Windsor Castle, Trump and Melania were greeted not by a minister or a courtier, but by the Prince and Princess of Wales, William and Catherine, who walked them up to Charles and Camilla as a 41-gun salute thundered across Windsor. Simultaneously, a second salute shook the air from the Tower of London. Then came the pageantry. We know Trump loves pageantry. A carriage procession through Windsor, great parks, long avenues. Trump and Melania were ensconced with King Charles and Queen Camilla, dutifully present despite having sinusitis. William and Catherine following in another coach with the U.S. ambassador. It was definitely a presentation of royal-like behavior. The way he was greeted and the way he was presented. Nothing ever has been done like this before with any other president. It was definitely special for President Trump. But however, he did not go without controversy. There were definitely protests while Trump was there. There was actually this big photo of Trump and Epstein on the lawn of Windsor Castle, and they put out a projector. I don't know how they did it, but this huge projection with different slides of Trump with Epstein were displayed on Windsor Castle. Now, the people that were responsible for doing this, they were arrested, but I mean, that was... How do you accomplish that? That was amazing. So yeah, so there was that. Now, I also want to mention that it was reported by Neil Sean. Now, you're not going to believe this, but we all remember when Harry went to go see the king, right? Well, during that meeting, it was reported by Neil Sean that Harry offered his services to support the king during the state visit. Like, I'll come if you want me to, Dad, Papa. Do you want me to help you out? Do you want me to help represent you on behalf of the royal family during the state visit? Yeah, and he was quickly denied by those that surround the king that is not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, I could not believe that this man actually thought he could give of himself to bypass the things that Trump has said about his wife, Meghan, and to allow his services to be used for the state visit. And it really is almost like, don't you know what Trump has said about your wife? Why would you say that? Why would you even want to offer your services to the king during the visit with Trump, the state visit with Trump? That, to me, sounds very suspect. And it goes along with my story about Harry wanting to go back to the UK with the children.
He loves the country, really loves the country, and he loved his mother. And that's why I thought she was treated so disrespectfully by Meghan. And
Trump has also been quoted saying, "I'm not a fan of hers. I wasn't from day one. I think Harry has been used horribly, and I think someday he will regret it." Also saying that he believes Harry ruined his relationship with his family and it hurts the Queen.
How is that possible that Harry would even want to be in the same room with a man that has called his wife a nasty person? Like, you are showing us that it's no longer about Meghan. It's about the king. It's about you wanting to go back to the United Kingdom. That is very, very revealing about the state of this marriage. Not only that, but then later at the state visit during the dinner at Windsor Castle, Trump gave a speech and completely ignored Harry even being the son of the king. Let's take a listen.
His Majesty has also raised a remarkable son in His Royal Highness Prince of Wales. Really amazing. We've gotten to know you, and I think you're going to have an unbelievable success in the future.
Wow. So here we have Harry wanting to let bygones be bygones and to try to meet with Trump during the state visit. But then Trump turns around and completely ignores Harry during his speech and praising William and Catherine and really not even giving a hint that Harry was even born. Can you imagine how much this had to hurt Harry? This had to be a serious sting in his ego that you're not even a thought in the minds of the president to be even thought of during the speech. And this is a subtle dig at Harry and Meghan, for that matter, that you are being etched out of life as royals. Like, you are becoming non-existent. You are not important. You are not relevant anymore. And this is how you can see that happening when things of importance like this state visit happen and you're not even a blip on the radar as a son across the pond. You have no relevance at all. So that was very, very telling. And it really hits home, I think, to Harry that his life is at the bottom of the barrel now. So while Harry was first I want to talk to you about when Harry was at the Well Child Award. He met with Joss Stone, this singer, this UK singer. According to Joss, Prince Harry's eyes always carried a hint of sadness, and even though he smiled and talked through the event, she said he had a very melancholy about himself. And even he expressed concerns about Joss Stone relocating with her family to the United Kingdom, she mentions. The timing of the comment, coupled with the tense rumors circulating within the British family, has only amplified the intrigue surrounding the young royal's intentions. According to Joss Stone, the encounter with Prince Harry was friendly and warm, yet there was an undeniable depth to his demeanor. While he smiled and chatted with guests throughout the event, she noticed that his eyes carried a trace of melancholy. This subtle sadness has prompted many to wonder about the personal struggles, his desires, and connections. It underscores a recurring theme in his life, the tension between the world he left behind and the life that he is trying to build abroad. And this is very telling because now there's stories coming out about Harry wanting to have his children educated in the United Kingdom. And Meghan is off the charts not down with this because here's the story about that. Harry wants to give his son Prince Archie and daughter Princess Lily, not Lilibet, we call her Lily here, a taste of his own childhood back home. Now, I can tell you that Harry wants to educate the children here in the UK, says one of his pals, Harry's pals. The old friend discussed the subject with King Charles's younger son during his visit to Britain, as the reasons for his plans are fascinating. Harry feels his children are missing out on the extensive family network that their niece and nephews are enjoying, referring to George, Charlotte, and Louis, who are all currently going to attend the same public school at Lambrook in Berkshire. which is 32,000 pounds per year per child. Okay, that is a lot of money. Harry wants his children to have the very best education. He has retained his closest friendship group with confidence from his last days at school at Ludgrove and Eton. He wants that for his own children. Harry, however, has a challenge selling this plan to Meghan. He wants the same for his children. Now, let me just take a pause right here, because this is what is so relevant about this, that he wants his children to have the same education that he had. However, when you think about it, wanting to have the same education as your children also means having the same cultural experiences, because going to boarding school is going to definitely give the kids other things besides a UK education. It's going to give them the culture of Great Britain. So this is a subtle dig at Harry trying to say, while my life is great in America, I don't want my children to have the same cultural experiences as what I'm having now as a foreigner in America. He sees that his children need to have the cultural experiences, the upbringing of the United Kingdom as he did. It's way more than just education. Education is just an excuse for him to try to get his children and himself back over to the United Kingdom. Harry is completely miserable. He won't say it. He'll make it look as if his life is great in America. But underneath it all, if you're trying to send your children to the United Kingdom to have a UK education this early in life, says it's more than the education. It's about the culture, because you can send your children later to have a UK education when it becomes more important, when you're studying things that are much more substantial in terms of what you're learning. But he definitely wants it to be the cultural experiences in the royal-like message of wanting his children to have relationships with their cousins. But he'll say it's education because, see, Harry doesn't want to drop face. He's trying to save face. He's trying to make it all about the education, but it's really more than that. Harry may, however, have a challenge selling his plan to his wife, Meghan, who is said to be considering sending children to boarding school is barbaric. The friend goes on to say that there is still some negotiating Harry has to do with Meghan. The king, however, is delighted. This comment suggests that Harry has mentioned his British education plan to his father when he was there visiting him. So, of course, Harry is trying to find a way back. And that is part of what his talk was about with his father when he went to see his father without Meghan. How to get back to the United Kingdom. And I'm almost inclined to say, how can the king help him get back to the United Kingdom when he leaves Meghan? Or when Meghan leaves him? Because there's some tension. This couple is not together in harmony. They are not living a harmonious love story, love, life, marriage in America. Because the divide now becomes the children and the experiences that they are going to have that Harry knows he doesn't want his children to have. Like I said in a previous video about the school system here in America. Harry sees a lot of things that are happening. I mean, Charlie Kirk being unalived. Can you imagine how traumatic that is for someone who doesn't experience gun violence like us everyday Americans experience? And you're bringing up your children in a country where gun violence is at an all-time high? Of course, Harry is having reservations. Of course, Harry wants to move back to the United Kingdom as a prince. He doesn't want to live as a regular Joe Schmo in America, where his title means completely nothing. This man is having huge conflict right now, because the time is now to go back to the United Kingdom when these children are young, impressionable, when they can start to have these relationships with the cousins, the aunts, the uncles. Like, there's so much that these kids are missing out on in this very privileged life that Harry knows he had. Because now he's in the reminiscent stage. He's going back thinking Harry is reminiscing about his life as a prince in the United Kingdom. He's reminiscing about, wow, how privileged it was when he was younger. He's going back and thinking, my children will never have these experiences now. Because you can't tell me that Harry lived a great childhood. I mean, I know it was tragic when his mother passed away, but for real, you lived as a prince during all of your schooling. You had a great upbringing. And now your children are growing up in California with this gun violence and these stories of unrest. I mean, people are even talking about civil war here in America. Like, it is not a good place to be. I have friends abroad who refuse to come to America right now. Now, look, I know as an American, I'm not sweating anything. But when you look at the stories that are going out around the world about what is happening in America right now, as a foreigner, because that is key, it definitely does not look very inviting to be a place where you want to bring up your children, especially when you've grown up as a prince. It's a completely different perspective that Harry is starting to see. Trust me when I say this. Harry is not feeling America like that for his children. The article goes on to say that Harry does provide some insight into his desire to retain his links to his homeland and to give his children who have American accents now something of a British upbringing. Of course. What's happening with Meghan right now? Can you imagine in Montecito how Harry's life was completely forgotten, like he was completely excluded from the speech of Trump? You wanted to help out at the state visit, and now you're not even really being welcomed to even come back with your children. I mean, I'm sure the king thinks it's a great idea, but how will that go over with Meghan? So you look at what's happening now with Meghan in her career. Her Netflix is bombed. What else does she have to hold on to in terms of successes that would warrant staying in America? This couple is at a divide right now, and now the cracks are starting to show because Harry is voicing through his friend that he wants his children to have a UK education, a private school education, an education where they can go to school where it is safe. It is private, it is exclusive, it is very high level schooling that they can't get in America. Now, we do have private schools in America, but at the same time, it's different. It's not like what Harry experienced. So there are crossroads. I believe Harry and Meghan are at a turning point in their relationship because Harry has seen that life is no better in America. Everything that he wants and likes is in the UK. Sure, it's great to come to America, where it's in California, where it's sunny all year long. How long do you sustain yourself in that glee and that happiness? I'm sure it wears off pretty quickly after the reality of, oh, what my kids are not going to get now. Harry is starting to wake up to what he has really lost in this moment. And you only have to see how they have bombed tremendously in America to understand that life has already gotten as good as it's going to get in America. It's time to hop, skip, jump your butt back over to the United Kingdom. It's an emergency. Harry, wake up to your new reality. I don't think it's going to go as easily as he has hoped it to go. Because Meghan is still going to keep trying, like I always said. She's a very tenacious woman. And we know she has political aspirations sometime in the future. So I can't see him going back anytime soon with these children. And if he does, if there is a plan that he has concocted with the king while he was over visiting his father, his papa, it's definitely something that Meghan is going to have to be ready for, because a fight with the king and his maybe desire to help Harry get back is going to be very interesting to see indeed. It's still a developing story, and I will keep you all posted, because I'm telling you right now, it is going to go down if Meghan is not inclined to go back. Let's see what her next move is going to be. All right. Okay, Otis, you understand I'm getting ready to stop my video? Okay. Okay. I will see you all in my next video. Cheerio.